Assalamu alaikum. This is Pasha, the author of the Double Cross. In one of my prior powers to you, I stated that the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, has said that the heavens and the earth sit at the feet of the woman, and even more so, the mother. Before I speak on this subject, let me share one of the mysteries that surrounds life as we know it, that you may not be aware of. For centuries, after the Messiah left the earth, the learned Hebrews had been expecting the arrival of a Messiah like the one described in Deuteronomy 18:18, that would be like Moses. And in John 16, the Messiah himself says that he must go, so that he can come, and that he would sin, and he would take of his. Not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was already here. It came into existence with mankind and divine law. And it is not a he. So when these elders of the Hebrew community heard that there was a prophet that fit the description of Moses in Arabia, they went and found him and asked him a handful of questions only a true prophet of God would know. One of these was what determines the characteristics of the child. After a 14-day period, the Most High gave the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, the answer. But first, he taught him a lesson that was passed on in the Quran and by the prophets. And that was that we should never say we will do so-and-so tomorrow without adding, inshallah, God willing, because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stated that he would reveal the answer to the elders without adding God willing. And so there was a delay in him receiving the answer. But when it was sent down to him, the elders knew he spoke the truth. The prophet told them that at the time of conception, if the father climaxes first, the child would take on the characteristics of the father. And if the mother climaxes first at the point of conception, the child will have her traits. It is Allah alone that determines whether male or female. And he sends an angel to the womb on the 120th day of conception to do 4 things. 1, to blow the breath of life into the embryo on the 120th day. 2, he writes down his lifespan. 3, he assigns his livelihood. And 4, he writes down if the child will be blessed or not in his belief in God. Now, this is not to say your faith is predetermined. It's saying that the Most High already knows what direction you will choose. This is why killing children is prohibited in all religions, and certainly after the 120th day of conception. After life has been blown into the child, his spirit, and they have been given their assignment. Do you know how many MLKs, Malcolms, Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshalls, Michael Jordans, Harriet Tubmans, Muhammad Ali's, Huey Newtons, Frederick Douglass, and Nikki Giovanni's we throw away in the abortion doctor's trash every day, whose livelihood and greatness have already been written? It's part of the culture. In America, women do battle in the streets for the right to throw their trials in the trash. I'm all for women's rights to choose. Don't get it twisted, because there are other reasons to abort in circumstances and conditions. However, my suggestion is that both the male and the female choose some protection before the panties come off. Okay, back to what I was saying. The heavens sit at the women's feet. But the question is, who is the woman today? Or better yet, what is she? And where has the real she gone? All across the country, the women have fallen victim to the artificial lifestyle. Plastic breasts, plastic butt cheeks, plastic lips, fake noses, eyelashes, and brows. Nails so long that she certainly has a problem cleaning herself properly after sitting on the toilet. And wearing his hair, not being satisfied with her own, is a fashion statement. If she isn't rocking hair from India, she's not a part of the in crowd and is thought of as less beautiful. This concept has grown in step with the rise of women and mothers arrested for drug dealing, robbery, kidnapping, burglary, and murder. Children are being born inside the prisons across the country in alarming rates. Along with all of this, in the black communities, women walk the streets carrying concealed weapons, looking for someone to jack, like the men do. They are the new carjackers. I recall when the plastic Barbie dolls first came out, and they were used in an experiment to judge beauty in the mind of elementary school black girls. Each one of the young girls were given a white doll and a black one and asked which one was more beautiful and which one would they love to. All of the black young girls picked up the white Barbie doll as more beautiful and who they would like to be. Broke my heart because I knew at that point, at such an early age, the damage had already been done. The programs created by whites to destroy our self-esteem, our self-worth, had been effective and profound, all the way down to our young children who did not love themselves. They too wanted to be someone else. And who could blame them when the adults in our community, the people they look up to, are lost themselves, bleaching their black skin white, risking the loss of their hair by enduring relaxers that burn the scalp, along with anything else they felt brought them closer to being associated with whiteness, including photos and statues of white Jesus in their homes, churches, and hung around their necks. All of this has played a role in the desire for preconceived beauty to a craze. I say craze because that's what it is. When our black women go to a mad doctor and pay thousands of dollars for him to inject plastic, rubber tire solution, and concrete into their butt cheeks to make their butts look bigger. Their natural breast sliced open, and a small vat of liquid silicone is inserted into their tissue and sealed up. Botox injected into her face and forehead to prevent lines in her face. Mm-hmm. Lips pumped up with who knows what. Women risk their lives for these surgeries and many have died during the operation and after. They have created a multi-billion-dollar industry. Quack doctors have come out of nowhere to feed on this frenzy, caring not for the lives of these black women, instead cashing in on their insecurities. I use the word insecurities because that's exactly what it is. Insecurities created centuries ago when our black woman was beaten, raped, humiliated, made to toil day and night, given one set of rags to wear, and oftentimes with no shoes on her feet. She watched as her children were also raped and sold. All the while, the white woman walked around in her finery, new dresses and shoes. She was protected, spoken highly of, in high regards. Her body was perfect. Her flat ass, thin lips, and her green and blue eyes was a token of beauty. I'm sure you all recall the first major craze, colored contacts. Blacks lined up in droves to purchase green and blue eyes. They wanted her eyes. They thought they would make them beautiful like her and attract a man for them. Now, speaking of the black man, here's the major problem in all of this, because he has mostly always chased after the woman other than his own. In spite of all that, the black woman has endured standing beside him, fighting beside him, being beaten and murdered beside him, and bringing his children into the world under the harshest conditions, even if it meant losing her own life. Where is the encouragement, black man? Your woman looks out at the world and sees you turning away from her natural beauty to the plastic, to the artificial lifestyle, and she goes there to please you, to give you what you seemingly want so that you can come home. It is you, black man, that has caused the greatest harm to our black woman, emotionally, psychotically, and created the imaginary deficiencies that have become real for her, destroying her self-esteem and her self-worth. We make songs and tell jokes about black men becoming rich and leaving the black woman for Becky with the good hair. But it's so much deeper than that. The black woman is still doing battle over internal conflicts with herself because of the many different shades that God has created her in. Light skin versus dark skin. How silly is that? The division was started by the white man. He set that division. It was he that chose those whose skin mirrored his own. They had no choice in the matter. The decision to establish his society, business, and everything he is on that basis has nothing to do with either the light or the dark skin. This is the bullshit. Everything black is beautiful. Everything black is beautiful. No matter the shade. We all come from the same tree. We have to solve this problem, this internal conflict, and to stop allowing our enemies to divide and conquer us. We hailed black-owned businesses like Johnson & Johnson, but it was this black-owned business that first created the bleaching creams. It was this black-owned business that created the hair straighteners and the curl. This black-owned company made millions exploiting our low self-esteem and craze to look like Whitey. So as far as I'm concerned, Johnson & Johnson were house niggas. They profited off black insecurities. The shit they sold should have come with a warning and a brief note on what bleaching your skin really means, because most of it was done unconsciously. This is another example of blacks being so hungry for so long to see blacks moving like white men that we accept it on face value and run with it. Well, at least we got Ebony and Jet Beauty of the Week out of it, huh? I remember when the white man and his woman made jokes about the black woman's body, her lips, her hiney. Now, all over the world, women are paying thousands of dollars to look like you, black woman. They are flying from country to country to find the best doctors who can mold them in your image, black woman. You set the bar, and you always have. Your natural beauty was created by God himself in the most beautiful of shades. You are the mother. All you see are your children, black woman. You don't have to compete with any other woman because you are every woman. Remember that. It's all in you. They are all in you. You don't exist. They don't exist without you. You are the first and the last. You have proven yourself the strongest, most beautiful, the most resourceful, the most determined. You have proven yourself the most intelligent, the most forgiving, and the most loving. No one loves like you do, black woman. The heavens sit at your feet. God is perfect in everything that he gave his first lady. Let me say that again. God is perfect. The Most High is perfect in everything that he gave his first lady is also perfect. What any man has to say after God has spoken is gibberish. This is the double cross. Assalamu alaikum.